Dawn on June 6, 1944, Juneau Beach, Normandy. The waves of the English Channel are stained with blood. German machine gun nests are methodically mowing down the ranks of the Allies. Artillery turns sand into a mess of metal and flesh. Soldiers come out of the landing craft and immediately fall under heavy fire. But one group does not fall. They're moving forward, through machine gun fire, through the minefields, through the barbed wire. They don't stop when their comrades are dying nearby. They don't back down when logic screams this is suicide. They're just walking. By the end of the day, they had advanced further than any other unit on the entire Normandy coast, more than 10 kilometers deep into enemy territory. Panicked German commanders relayed reports. The Canadians have broken through. It's impossible to stop. They weren't just soldiers. They were Canadian attack aircraft, stormtroopers, as the Germans themselves called them. It's the same word they used to call their elite shock troops in the First World War. But now it was the nickname of their enemies. The birth of a legend, D-Day at Juneau Beach. When the landing craft ramps landed off Juneau Beach on June 6, 1944, the 3rd Canadian Infantry Division faced hell. The German 716th Infantry Division turned the coast into a perfectly planned killing zone. Pillboxes made of reinforced concrete, overlapping firing sectors, minefields, anti-tank barriers, barbed wire underwater and on shore. The first waves of Canadians suffered terrible losses. Entire platoons were destroyed before they could reach the shore. The officers died one by one. The connection is broken. By all military standards, the attack should have failed. When the company commander fell, the sergeant took command. When the sergeant, corporal died. When there was no one left, an ordinary soldier independently decided where to attack. No one was waiting for orders. No one looked back at the headquarters. They just saw a German pillbox and went to destroy those who were sitting in it. The Canadian regiment, the Royal Winnipeg Rifles, lost half of its personnel in the first hour. But the second half didn't stop. They broke through the coastal defenses, bypassed the fortifications from the flanks, threw grenades at the pillboxes, and shot the garrisons at point-blank range. By noon, they were 4 kilometers from the shore. By 10 o'clock in the evening, it was the deepest breakthrough of D-Day. Americans in Omaha are stuck on the beach. The British advanced several kilometers on the Gold and Sword. The Canadians went the furthest on Juneau and joined up with the British paratroopers, who were supposed to meet them only the next day. The German command was in shock. One of the Wehrmacht officers wrote in his diary, "The Canadians are attacking like mad. They don't back down. They don't give up. Killing them is the only way to stop them." Stormtroopers. The word stormtroopers had a special meaning in the German military lexicon. In the First World War, this was the name given to the elite shock troops of the Kaiser's army. Sturmtruppen. They were the first to use infiltration tactics. Small mobile groups armed with automatic weapons, grenades and flamethrowers broke through the front line, wreaked havoc behind enemy lines, and destroyed command posts and artillery. The stormtroopers acted quickly, brutally and without hesitation. They didn't take prisoners in battle. There was no time. They weren't waiting for reinforcements. There wasn't time. They relied on initiative, speed, and absolute determination. When German officers in World War II started calling Canadians stormtroopers, it wasn't a metaphor. That was an accurate tactical description. That's how the Canadians fought. But where did soldiers from a peaceful country, where there was not even a large regular army before the war, get such a tactical culture? The key to understanding Canadian stormtroopers is their combat experience before Normandy. While American and British troops were preparing to land in France, the Canadians had been fighting in Italy for a year. In July 1943, the 1st Canadian Division landed in Sicily. They got into a meat grinder. The Italian campaign was the most brutal and bloody for the Allies in the West. Mountainous terrain. Every height is a fortress. Each village is a defense hub. The Germans turned Italy into an endless series of defensive lines, each requiring a frontal attack head-on. Canadians have learned how to fight in the most difficult conditions. They stormed fortified positions under fire. They took heights in bayonet attacks. We fought in the ruins of cities where every house is a fortress, every window is a machine gun nest. They learned how to operate in small groups, without constant communication with the headquarters. We have learned to make decisions on the spot based on the situation, not on orders. We learned how to improvise, use captured weapons, outflank the enemy, and attack at night. And they learned the main thing: hesitation kills. There are two types of soldiers in war, the dead and those who act first. By the time of the Normandy landings, the Canadian army consisted of seasoned veterans who knew how to fight and had no illusions about the war. They did not believe in chivalrous confrontation and fair fight. They believed in what worked: speed, aggression, suddenness. After the breakthrough at Juneau Beach, the Canadians faced a new nightmare, the battle for Caen. This Norman city was supposed to be taken on the first day of the landing. Instead, it turned into a month-long meat grinder. The Germans pulled the elite Waffen-SS divisions to Caen, the 12th SS Panzer Division Hitler Youth and the 1st SS Panzer Division Leibstandarte Adolf Hitler. These were not ordinary Wehrmacht soldiers. They were fanatics, ideologically processed, convinced of the superiority of the Aryan race, ready to die for the Führer. And they met with the Canadians. The battle was fought from house to house, from room to room. The Canadians stormed the ruins under constant artillery fire. Tiger and Panther tanks hid in the ruins and shot the Allied armored vehicles at point-blank range. SS snipers hunted from attics. The machine gunners dug into the basements. The Canadians responded in kind, but more harshly. They used flamethrowers to burn out the garrisons from the basements. They threw grenades at the buildings until all resistance stopped. They called artillery to positions a few meters away from their own. An officer of the 12th SS Division wrote, "Canadians don't fight like the Anglo-Saxons. They fight like Russians, absolutely ruthlessly. They don't accept surrender in the heat of battle. Our soldiers are afraid of being captured by them." The losses were terrible on both sides. But the Canadians didn't back down. Meter by meter, house by house, they gnawed the can out of the hands of the SS. What made Canadians so effective? Three things: initiative, flexibility, and absolute focus on the mission. Initiative: the British Army fought according to the rules. The American side relied on firepower and material superiority. The Canadians did what worked, even if it contradicted the instructions. Sergeants and corporals made their own tactical decisions. The privates acted without orders if they saw an opportunity. Flexibility: Canadian units could be rebuilt instantly. An infantry platoon became an assault group. Sappers are infantrymen, signalmen are shooters. Everyone was trained to fight in any role. Mission above all, the Canadians did not count casualties during the battle. They didn't think about fame or rewards. They thought of only one thing: to complete the task. Take the height, capture the bridge, hold the road, at any cost. German General Kurt Meyer, commander of the 12th SS Division, wrote after the war, "Of all the opponents I fought, the Canadians were the most dangerous. Not because they were better armed or trained, but because they were completely unpredictable. You never knew what they would do. And when they decided to attack, it was impossible to stop them." In August 1944, the Allies surrounded the German Army Group B in Normandy. The Americans broke through in the south. The British pressed from the north. But one corridor remained open, the road through Falaise. If the Germans break through, they will save two armies. If the Canadians hold the road, it will be the largest encirclement of the Western Front. The Canadians were ordered to take the heights around Falaise and block the road. The Germans launched a counterattack with everything they had: tanks, artillery, remnants of elite SS divisions. The Canadians held on, under continuous attacks, no sleep, without reinforcements, shooting down German columns that were desperately trying to break through. The heights changed hands several times a day, but the road was blocked. Two German armies were trapped in a cauldron. Tens of thousands of dead, 50,000 prisoners. The Normandy operation ended with the defeat of the Wehrmacht. And the Canadians played a key role. By the end of 1944, Canadian forces were liberating the Netherlands. It was a different war. The Germans flooded the polders, turning the country into a giant swamp. The Canadians fought in mud, waist-deep in icy water. They stormed the dams under fire. They took cities that the Germans had turned into fortresses. But here they faced more than just the enemy. The civilian population of the Netherlands was dying of hunger. The winter of 1944–1945, the hungry winter, claimed more than 20,000 lives. The Canadians shared their rations. They risked their lives delivering food to besieged cities. When the war ended, they stayed, helping rebuild the country. The Dutch still remember, there are always fresh flowers in Canadian military cemeteries in the Netherlands. The price of victory: more than 1 million Canadians served in World War II. From a country with a population of 11 million people, every 11th, more than 45,000 died. More than 55,000 were injured. Thousands returned with contusions, mental injuries, and mutilated bodies and souls. Their stories are rarely told. Hollywood makes films about Americans. British historians write about their heroes. Canadians remain in the shadows. Friends, subscribe to the channel and don't forget to like it.